Compared to Uruguayans, foreigners have an insurance culture. The first thing they think about when they come here is about insurance. This is the last thing a Uruguayan thinks when he starts a new life, marriage or whatever. Okay, a car, but the house. The thing that surprises most foreigners about car insurance is, and I'll give a practical example, I gave a quote worth $1,000 and the couple asked me, is that a month? I said, well, we pay $6,000 in the States. No, that's a year. The thing that surprises foreigners most about travel insurance in Uruguay is that you can get a year-long policy for $120,000 coverage, and that will cover multiple trips or 30 days during that period. The thing that surprises foreigners most about household insurance is, apart from the coverage, you get an emergency service, which I think you experienced. You got locked out of your house and the locksmith came over and let you in. Any time of the day, he'll come. Electrician, plumber, which is not available in other parts of the world, for what I understand.
Alejandro, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You are an insurance broker here in Uruguay, and your company is one of the oldest.
Possibly, yeah, because 1876 is when we started.
What?
As agents of Queen Insurance, was a British company that was bought by Royal Insurance, and then it turned into Royal Sun Alliance here, and then today it has another name. The company's been a while around.
And today it's known as?
Lucas-Calcraft.
The reason that we're talking today is because foreigners who come to Uruguay invariably have no idea of the options that they have regarding insurance. Sometimes they don't even know if there is insurance here. So can you just talk us, like, compared to somebody coming from the US or from Europe, what are they going to find insurance-wise?
Insurance-wise, they're going to find pretty much the same. There might be some odd things that are not available because they are not considered risk in Uruguay, but the coverage would be the same that they can get anywhere, in UK or the States. So I wouldn't be concerned about not getting the adequate coverage if I was coming here.
So it would be really helpful to have an idea of costs. Perhaps we could go through some of the different types of insurance and then talk about maybe a few examples.
In Uruguay, the most common insurance is car. For example, if you want an idea of cost, if you have a Hyundai HB20, you'll be paying around $1,000 a year, and a deductible of around another $1,000 a year, which I learned compared to some places like in the States, is quite less expensive because the liability here doesn't play as much as it does over there, I guess. Household insurance, the building and the contents. So homeowners, you own that building, and then you insure your contents. That if you're insuring a $300,000, $400,000 house, considering the contents it will have, will be around $300, $500 a year, which if you think about it is half the price of your car insurance. But Uruguayans just only insure cars and they forget about the house. If you need a car, you go to a dealership and you get it. The only thing you should be concerned about is liability. That's the only thing you can't afford. You perfectly can't afford a house if anything happens.
Right. So the house insurance is way cheaper.
It's cheaper, and it's, my point of view, much more necessary because it's the biggest asset. But I mean, people that come here know that. It's just the difference I'm making with the people in Uruguay. They just don't think it'll happen or don't.
Uruguayans often don't take out house insurance, right?
No, and I've known people that have houses burnt to the ground and they just won't take it again. No, it won't happen again.
Wow. Nice attitude. All right, what other kinds of insurance?
Travel insurance. You have the travel insurance with us.
I do.
$120
I have all my policies with him, actually.
You have $120,000 medical coverage that has obviously other coverages, luggage and delays. That was costing you $200 a year, and that permits you to travel 30 days multiple times during a year.
Does our age come into it as well?
The age plays, but it doesn't play much because it's health-wise. When you go into life expectancy, then they start looking at how old you are.
Uh-huh.
So fortunately for travel insurance, they ask for the age, but it doesn't vary much.
That's interesting.
Well, if you're over, let's say, if you go over the 70 years bracket, yeah, then it's a different story.
Mm-hmm. And what about travel insurance for somebody over 70?
You can get it.
Yeah.
It's going to cost a bit more, but you can get it. Before you couldn't get it.
Could you get that kind of insurance that is like kind of year long and for multiple trips?
It's a good question. You maybe can and you maybe cannot according to the company.
Right. Okay. But what you guys do is you look at all of the companies.
Yeah.
And then advise your client which one is the best.
Yeah. As brokers, we work with all the major companies in Uruguay. So if we give a quote, it's will be compared to others, or sometimes we put the comparison on the paper as we do with cars. That you always see 7 quotes, so you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So that's the way we do. We always compare with other companies.
Yeah, that's what I've got to say, that in Uruguay, you don't really find online comparison websites for different types of policies and their costs, right? Like you would in the UK where I'm from or in the US. And so somebody like Alejandro is great because he will actually go through, like when we do the travel insurance, like I've seen, like you show me the whole breakdown of the different companies that you contact, the different levels of coverage, and then basically it's up to me then to choose, because I can either choose on price or I can say, oh no, I prefer that type of coverage. And then they go ahead and they get it for us. So we always know that we're kind of like covering the market that way, which I think is a brilliant, it's really a concierge service, but it's one of those examples where in Uruguay, the concierge service is the norm still.
Yeah, digital insurance is growing slowly. You can get the comparisons in the car business, but I would say it's impossible for you to get the service or a claim arises. You basically bought the product out of a computer. But then, then
you're talking to a call center if you can talk.
Yeah, you go to a call center. For example, if you call the companies direct, they have very good personnel, but after 20 minutes talking to you very nicely, they don't know you, they say, call your broker, 90% of cases. So at the end of the day, it comes back. In fact, I recommend people not to call the company, to call us, because within the day, they get the answer the other day.
Right, because you guys know who to contact.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I hear you. We were talking about different types of insurance. I think the one that's left is about for specific kind of items of value.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are 2 more. For example, if you have notebooks, it's costing around $100 a year. Some companies look at the age. Basically, all of them look at the age because they don't want to insure old ones. So within the year you purchase it, you present the invoice and you can get the coverage. You can get worldwide coverage for accidental damage, theft, for around $100. We're talking about laptops that are under $1,000, basically. No.
Do I have that coverage? I don't have it separately. Do
You
I
could
have
get
it in
it.
my? Do I have it in my household one?
Yeah, you have your coverage for theft, and if you have items that are worth over $1,000, i.e. a Mac, we need to know the model number and the serial number. That will be at the back of the thing. It's a picture or on the screen.
Okay, but that's not covered in my household coverage when I take my laptop out onto the street.
90% of the cases, no. Yeah, you're not covered out of your house. Well, business insurance, most people come over here to retire, so they're not thinking about business, but some do come and think about setting up a shop or doing some business. Recently, we quoted a gentleman that's putting a shop in Punta del Este. And for a small business, the insurance can range from $300 to $500, and you will get the coverage that you need. I mean, you get a decent coverage for that amount. We're covering building and contents, liability, water damage. They said, no, the client said, I'm renting. And he said, okay, but look at your lease, because when you rent, you're obliged to return the property in the same state as you took it. So that applies to a business, to a house. So you have to look at you have to agree that beforehand, because if anything happens, if you start quarreling about the responsibility for the fire, you're in trouble. So maybe for $400 a year that you agree on with the owner, you get that off your shoulders.
Yeah, you're covered.
For the building.
Yeah, absolutely. When somebody first contacts you, say they want home insurance, car insurance, how does that work?
We ask them the information. For example, if it's a house, we would like a brief description of the premise. We also want to know if it has fences, if it wants to cover the fences, if it wants to cover the electrical pump for the pool against electrical shocks. If you have solar panels for heating the pool, you can cover the hail for an added cost. So there are lots of things that go in the house that you think initially you don't want. But then when something happens, you remember about the fence, your electrical gate. And also the fire insurance, we must take into account, it covers basically all the climate risks you can get in Uruguay. If it's not included, you can add it on, case of hail, and that's more frequent together with water damage because there have been floods. The climate is fortunately making people think about insurance for the house more than fire. And then if it's business, you can also insure loss of profit. So if you have a business interruption, the company will pay you the loss of profit for the business for the time you're out of business.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
For how long?
For the time you agree. It's normally what it takes you to get back into business or get the new machinery you needed. The best example is in Inglesa, in the big supermarket that had the mall fire. They have loss of profit insurance. And nobody does have that. So you insure your things because you have a business you live off, but you forget about the money you make about it. The material things are there, but when they're not there, there's no money to be made. So that's when the loss of profits comes in.
Before we move on to healthcare, that I have my property insurance with Alejandro, and there's one part of the service that I personally cannot believe, and it's fairly common, I think, in Uruguay.
Yeah.
And this is for like a $300 a year insurance. Yeah. I have the right, as somebody that holds that insurance for my apartment, to be able to call, in the case of emergency, a plumber, an electrician, a locksmith, somebody that does glazier.
The most common emergencies you have in a house.
The most common emergencies. I can call and get a service, somebody to come and check my electricity if there's a problem, up to 3 times a year in any of the services. So I could call a plumber 3 times in the year for an emergency. And then when they come, they diagnose and they'll either fix it for you there if it doesn't require anything additional. If there's an additional cost, they'll actually give you a quote, and they could come back then if you decide that you want to use them for that. I mean, it's an amazing service. I can't believe it. Like, it's fantastic.
I would like to add that when you have your car insured, you get roadside assistance.
Yes.
Which is not common, I understand, in other parts of the world. So if your car gets stuck in the middle of nowhere or in the city, they will come and help you out.
The big question for most people moving to Uruguay is what to do about health insurance or health coverage. I know, because I send a bunch of foreigners to you to deal with that. How can you help people with that?
We don't sell permanent health coverage. We will guide the client of all the hospitals or institutions that are available, the contacts, because it's something that you have to do in person. Once you contract a permanent health coverage, they're going to ask for a medical examination, so you have to be there. And in the meantime, what we do is travel insurance for a period of 90 days. So when you leave your home country coming over here, you can have 3 months that you are covered for any emergency. So you can look around and shop around for the best coverage you want. And you're not pressed for time because you don't have anything.
That really sets people's minds at rest, I think, knowing that when they come here, they've got that 3-month period where they are covered and they can shop around the different healthcare providers. And you've got all the details there that you keep up to date.
All the details, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So extra service we give.
It is, because obviously you don't make money out of that. So but it's super helpful, I have to say. If anybody wants to get in contact with you, Lucas-Calcraft Insurance Brokers is on our website in the Uruguay Trusted Service Providers section. And I know that you provide your own WhatsApp number so that people can contact you directly.
We believe people want to talk to people, so I have my phone available. It's +598 9760 4836.
All right, well, Alejandro, thanks so much. It's been a real pleasure to be able to recommend you.
My pleasure too.
And work with you for the last decade. Thanks a lot. And thanks so much for providing this helpful information.
A pleasure.